I've meant to do this video for some time now, and guess what? I found this video in my video files, so I'm publishing it now. Stay tuned. Hey Boomers, Boomer Ranger Ron here. Sunday morning, September 4th. I think tomorrow's Labor Day. I know everybody's trying to get ready for the upcoming archery season. Starts here in Connecticut on the 15th. We got some planned videos for the next couple of weeks, I'm hoping. Just to give you some idea what we'll be talking about for the aging hunters. How old is too old? How old is too old to hunt alone? Now that leaves a lot to one's imagination. A lot of it depends on your physical fitness or your medical conditions, how secure you feel about hunting alone, possibly how familiar you are. Are you hunting on the back 40 acres of a farm that you've hunted the last 10 years? You kind of know like the back of your hand. You don't need your GPS. You don't need your compass. You don't really need to know a map where you are. But I can tell you that it all depends on a variety of factors. A lot of people like to hunt alone. A lot of people prefer the camaraderie of a hunt. My oldest hunting buddy just turned 83, Pete. He's decided he's not going to hunt anymore. But last week he was kind enough to meet me for breakfast. The camaraderie aspect still runs very strong for most hunters. And the camaraderie means a lot. You know, best friends forever, hunters for sure. So after having a nice breakfast at IHOP, we went over to his cousin's place, cousin's farm. He helped me set up a couple different trail cameras, one of his by the stream and the other two for me. He's very helpful, very knowledgeable, knows how to go through that technology faster than I do. But I have to tell you, if you look at my face, there's calamine lotion on it. Being perfectly healthy, being physically fit, not having any real serious conditions, things can happen out there by yourself. You just got to be careful. Just clearing some branches away so next year I don't get 1,000 videos of the same branch. I should say 1,000 trail camera pictures of the same branch. And I'm highly allergic to the poison ivy, so it's spreading all over the place. My wife's a registered nurse. She said I have to use Napa Fell soap. Looks like a laundry soap, but I've been using it. It's supposed to dry it out, and then you put the calamine lotion on. If you take a look at just how bad this stuff is, and it spreads. You touch it and touch another place, and before you know it, it's all over the place. All right, so one other thing. I was out with my friend Dave. Dave's in his late 60s. He's had some heart issues. He just recently went to see a cardiologist. He passed his first physical stress test pretty well, but the doctor said, I want you to walk every day. Probably the best thing you can do as an aging hunter is walk every day. I've been getting to 2 or 3 times a week now, and maybe an occasional bike ride. But the game plan now that I'm retired is going to be to try to get out at least 5 days a week, regardless of the weather, and get at least 2 miles in, possibly 3. While I was scouting with Dave, yesterday was the very last day. September 3rd was the very last day of scouting. But I was out with David Friday the 1st, and we were hunting an area, and we were in a pine thicket, and it was completely covered with pine straw. More pine straw than I'd ever seen since we were in Georgia. Pine straw is used as a landscape tool, most of the greater Atlanta area. So I slipped on the pine straw, and as I was going down, I tried to reach and catch the tree, but my arm was around the tree like this. Let's see if I can give you a better picture of this. I don't know, let me back up till it focuses. This is 3 days ago, 2 days ago now. It's just healing. Not a good idea to slide down a tree. Yesterday while I was out, I thought I'd lost my sunglasses. They'd fallen off my hat, and I was convinced when I fell, tripped over a log. I told my wife I actually didn't really hurt myself or really fall. I just lost my balance, and the log was in the middle of my waist, so I did a teeter-totter, back and forth. Pretty cool, right? Didn't hurt myself. It turns out my sunglasses weren't in the woods. I didn't lose them there. I got in the car. They had fallen off my hat, and they were between the passenger seat and the door. Everything was fine. My point is, 2 scouting events by myself, fairly good condition, fairly active, accidents can happen. I want to tell you recently I read, and we're going to put some footage of this if I can find it, put the footage in this video. A middle-aged doctor, a rheumatologist from Oklahoma, an avid hunter, was found in the woods, crossbow hunting, which was his passion. Hunting in general was his passion, but he was out crossbow hunting. They found him in the woods with an arrow in his thigh, dead. Now, I just finished a hunter safety course. I just finished a range safety officer course. I just finished a CPR course. If a doctor, a trained medical professional, can't tie a tourniquet fast enough and he dies of an accident, just give you some idea how fast and how serious things can be out there. So what I'd like you to do is just think about that. What's your age? What's your physical condition? How comfortable are you in the woods you're at? You know, if you're 70, you're soon to be 76, like the boomer, you probably shouldn't go out on horseback by yourself in Colorado in the Wymanooch wilderness. It's probably not a good idea. You probably shouldn't go Montana, Alaska. You shouldn't be going anywhere out where there's grizzly bears. Alaska does require non-residents to hunt with a guide. You get to a point where maybe you should pay for a guide. Maybe it makes a lot more sense to have somebody drive you to a stand. You know, a few years ago, I hunted at Fair Oaks in Maryland. I always buy a Maryland license because they give senior citizens a 50% discount. You don't have to buy the extra licenses until you draw the lottery. Once you draw the lottery, you can check out my video last year at Y Island. I drew a one-day hunt at Y Island for the early muzzleloader season. I'll probably apply for that again this year. I'll probably apply for the shotgun hunts. But in 2008, I attended the Fair Hills, which is in Baltimore County. I arrived and bad weather was forecasted. I had a cold. I was pretty sure it was going to rain. I went anyhow. I dubbed this the ideal senior citizens hunt for a couple of reasons. One, they have a meeting in the morning. They explain the safety procedures, where they're going to take you. They're going to take you to your standby truck. They're going to drop you off about 6:30, 7 o'clock in the morning. They're going to come and get you around 11:30, 12 o'clock. The hunt's going to be over by 1 o'clock. You're allowed at that time 4 deer. And not that anybody ever really got 4 deer, but that morning I took 2 deer. I had drawn a tag for a bonus antler deer. I shot a 6-pointer who was only really wearing 1 antler. The other had already been shed. It's an early January hunt. I dropped that buck in his tracks, and 12-gauge slug, shotgun only. The doe I hit ran about 50 yards, ran across the creek into the thicket. They came out with an ATV. They retrieved both deer for me, brought them back. There was 2 gentlemen operating the evisceration. The gutting was done, and all the innards were put into a evisceration pit and then buried. They then, when everything was all over and done, they loaded the deer in my truck. At the time, my wife's Highlander, which I'm still driving. So my point is, by 9:30 in the morning, I had 2 deer down on the ground. By noon, I was leaving with 2 deer in my car to look for a processor in downtown Baltimore. By that time, the skies just opened up, torrential downpour. So you have to keep weather in a factor as well if you're going to hunt alone. Say you go out to Colorado, a blizzard comes in and you're stuck without any survival techniques by yourself. It's going to be a rough night. Might not be a good outcome. I'd also like you to check out a good friend of mine, Gary Rose, from Old Grumpy Hunter. He lives in Kentucky. He has a great channel. He's really a very efficient, all-around hunter. I believe he and his son are probably going to Texas next week for a hog hunt. When he returns, Gary and I are talking about doing a podcast. So stay tuned for that. We'll put out some information on that. But I think Gary and I, Old Grumpy Hunter and the Boomer, talking together about how old is too old to hunt alone. Now, one last thing before I say goodbye. I think it was last year or the year before, America's oldest deer hunter. I don't have his name handy. I'll have to Google it and pull it up for you. He was from Virginia. He died about 3 weeks before his 106th birthday. In his 105th year, he killed 2 bucks in his backyard at the farm. Granted, his son and his grandson hauled that deer out, walked him to the stand. But here's a gentleman who's 105 years old. Being able to hunt on a family farm is just incredible. I'm a member of the Wild Turkey Federation, and this month's copy has an article. Let me zoom in. That gentleman in the center of the screen, he just celebrated his 75th consecutive turkey hunt. I believe that's his son with the white beard over here, and his two grandsons. The white beard here and his two grandsons. Imagine that. 75 consecutive turkey hunts. And he wasn't hunting alone, he was hunting with family. That might be one thing you could take away from this video. That's all for now, folks. Stay tuned. I wish you all a very successful, happy hunting season. I hope you all get some great opportunities and harvest some venison for the family. That's all for now, folks. Thank you. Safe hunting.